Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome, brothers and sisters. There are many instances of Andrew Tate saying prior to his arrest that this would indeed happen to him. In several places, in several interviews, he said that he had already expired one of his lives by being cancelled publicly, cancelled on social media, and that this didn't work. So that then it would be the next step, which would be to put him in jail, to put him in prison. And that if that didn't work, then that they would kill him.
Hey, listen, and I'm going to say this on this podcast now because I say it in every other one. I would never, ever kill myself. I truly believe they're going to come and they're going to try and kill me on a long enough time frame because they tried to shut me up and I won't shut up. They're either going to try and put me in jail or they're going to kill me, and I would never kill myself under any circumstances ever. And the reason I say this, and I say this to people, and they go, but what can they put you in jail for? And I'm like, how ignorant are you in your ignorance to believe they need a reason? You believe it's fair. You believe I can get a lawyer and prove myself innocent. That's not how it works. They decide you're guilty long before and they find a reason why.
Now, in my last live stream, a friend posted a good question. Did Andrew Tate manifest having himself sent to prison, going to jail? Because he spoke it, he said it so many times that he actually attract and manifest that. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to discuss this issue. So yes, again, in many instances, Andrew Tate said that they would be coming for him, that they would now put him in prison, put him in jail. Did he manifest this? Did he attract this? Is that even possible? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We have to remember that as human beings, we are endowed with divine authority, with divine power, with divine responsibility. And so one of the things that we must be very careful about as human beings is what we say, what we think, how we feel. The universe is a mirror. It shows to us what we believe, what we think, and what we focus on is indeed what we attract to ourselves. This is so that we can learn what we are actually choosing, whether we are choosing faith or fear, whether we are choosing belief in God, and thus in positivity, or if we're succumbing to the lower self, and thus surrendering to negativity. Allah Almighty has willed to have created this world in this way so that we can learn what we are choosing before we lose the opportunity to make a choice, right, at the time of death. So we can learn to improve our choices, and hopefully the ultimate choice being paradise, heaven, His pleasure. Now I actually teach this in my course, Mastering the Law of Attraction. I go into a lot of detail and specifically about this issue as well, which is the power of speech. This is one of the modules in one of the weeks that explains how we have to be extremely careful about what we say and what we think. Because what we say and what we think, right, our speech is a reflection of our thoughts, which are a reflection of our beliefs. These would constitute our reality. This is what determines what we attract to ourselves. We have to remember that Allah Almighty created the entire creation with word, with speech. Kun fayakun. He said be, and it was. And when He Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala established His deputy, His Khalifa, His vicegerent upon the earth, that vicegerent, which is the human being, is also endowed with al-amana, the trust. And this means that we must live with extreme responsibility, personal responsibility to execute, because it is always in operation. The divine power that Allah Almighty has endowed human beings with is always in operation. We're inheriting from His divine light and power and attributes as His creation, as His emissaries, as His vicegerents. Human beings amongst all creatures are the few that have choice, the ability to choose. And so we must learn to choose in alignment with Allah's will, with goodness, with positivity, with faith, with belief. And so one of the things we must be extremely careful about is what we say, how we say it, how we feel, and what we think, essentially what we believe. Your speech does have an impact. It's not meaningless. It does have an impact on your reality and on what you attract to yourself. What you say, you believe. And when you believe something, that is a force that goes out into the universe and begins to manifest. This is why the Prophet ﷺ continually encouraged his companions and his followers to always say good things, to say positive, to say things that reflect hope and faith and belief in the providence and in the mercy and the generosity and the goodness of Allah Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala. So did Andrew Tate manifest getting sent to prison and going to jail? I believe it has something to do with it. Because he said it, because he believed it, it began to move him towards that reality, towards that possibility. Again, why we have to be extremely careful what we focus on, what we think, what we believe, because we will move towards that and it will move towards us. And again, this is covered in the Power of Speech module in the Mastering the Law of Attraction course. My suggestion, brothers and sisters, be very mindful, be very conscious, be very intentional about what you say and what you think, and thus how you feel. At the end of the day, these are choices. We have a choice as to what we think and thus what we feel, what we believe. And we must consciously choose to think and believe in ways that are consistent with the mercy, the protection, the generosity, the light, the power, the love, the forgiveness, the compassion of Allah. May He subhanahu wa ta'ala guide you, guide us all, bless us and protect us. And may He, Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala, protect all of those who are being unjustly oppressed throughout the world, whose rights are being taken away. May He grant them all the strength to stay on the path of truth and the path of goodness, the path of light, the path of excellence, the path of beauty, and the path of ever-increasing faith. May He, Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala, make us amongst the sincere believers. Allahumma ameen fi aman Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.